LearningMeasure.tv, a science and engineering podcast with emphasis on measurement, brought to you by David Archer and LearningMeasure.com. Episode 49, Covariance. Hello, I'm David Archer, owner of LearningMeasure.com, LearningMeasure.tv. LearningMeasure.com is a subscription-based website, training website, where when you register as a student, you get 10% of the course catalog for free, and you can try out at any time. And then after that, it's $5 a month or $60 a year for access to all the remaining courses. Since the last time we had this podcast, added 2 courses to the course catalog: Geodesy 100, Introduction to Geodesy. Geodesy is the science of the measurement of the Earth, for those of you who are interested. Okay, today I want to talk about the concept of covariance. You may have seen covariance in the law of propagation of uncertainty. It's it might not be all that clear what it is, and what I'm going to try to do is try to make some sort of intuitive argument of what it might mean. I don't know if I'll succeed or not, but we'll see. Okay. Covariance. Covariance is a statistic. A statistic is nothing more than a measure of a set of numbers. One statistic of a set of numbers is the mean. And for the purposes of this discussion, we're going to use a notation to make the equations easier. Okay, we're going to use brackets like this to indicate a mean value. So it would equal, like for instance, the sum I equals 1 to n of some variable divided by n. That's adding them up and dividing by n. So things in brackets indicate an average. Okay. So actually, let me put that in a different color on somewhere on here. So just to recall, bracket x is average or mean. Just sum up everything and divide by the number of things, and you get the mean. So now we're going to discuss probably one of the simplest measurements you can make: the measurement of the area of a rectangular plate. It's actually a little more complicated than measuring the length of a line, but it's pretty simple. Okay, so we're going to assume the plate is perfect, the sides are parallel, there's right angles everywhere, all that. So the measurement equation is area equals the length times the width. So width, length. So how are we going to do that? We're going to use a ruler. We're going to measure your ruler, measure the length, measure the width, and keep track of that data. Being good metrologists or test people, we want to make a whole bunch of measurements and to take an average. So we get a bunch of data where we have pairs of the length and the width. Okay, so we got all this data, all this length data, all this width data. What's the area? Well, there's 2 ways we can compute it with this data. One way, the area could be, you could take the average of the length data and multiply it times the average of the width data. Perfectly legitimate way to do the calculation. Well, another way we could do it, if everything was perfect, is we could measure a bunch of areas, take the length times the width, and average that. And we get a number. Again, that should be a perfectly legitimate number. Unfortunately, the average value in general of the length times the width is not equal to the average value of the length times the average value of the width. Strange. So by picking either one of these, you could be off somewhat. Well, what's the worst you could be off? How about the difference? Okay, by using either of these, assuming these are perfect, one of these is valid, the worst you can be off by using one of them is this amount. We can show, I won't show it here, that this value is always going to be larger than this value. It just turns out that way, and I don't want to prove it here. So what is this thing? Well, this thing is called the covariance of the length and the width in this case. So covariance, this is what's called the covariance. It's a measure of how the two variables vary together as opposed to separately. Now, those of you who know the variance, it might be interesting to find out that the variance, or the standard deviation squared, is, for a quantity x, let's say, is x squared minus, it's the mean value of x squared minus the mean value of x squared. Well, that is the covariance of x with itself. So covariance and variance are related. Covariance tells you how two variables can vary together, and variance tells you how one variable can vary by itself. Now, why might this not be equal? Well, for instance, if you had a ruler, and a ruler will grow and shrink at a certain temperature, depending on the temperature. So if you take pairs of data at different temperatures, the pairs might be more correlated with each other than they will be individually. The average might actually be close, for these two quantities here, might be close to the actual average value. But this thing is going to vary together. So this difference will not be non-zero. And sometimes even when they're not related in any way, they're going to be non-zero. In fact, it's guaranteed, because statistically the probability of this thing being zero is very small, no matter what type of data you have. So anyway, that's the simple idea of covariance. I hope that was useful. What I want to talk to you about now is it's a new year. And it's been a long time since we did the last episode. But we are working hard on changing some things. You may have noticed on the website a new feature right now with programs. And programs are a collection of courses that are related to a specific topic. And when you sign up for the program, you sign up for all the courses. What we haven't had a good handle on the website before is monitoring your progress on programs. What we've added, if you look at the menu on the page, on your home page when you log into your student account, there's the My Courses screen, and then there's the My Programs menu entry on the menu bar. And that'll take you to a screen where you can monitor your progress on programs. It'll either give you a list of the courses remaining that you have to take to finish the program, or it'll tell you that you've completed the program, and when you've completed the program, you can request to be emailed a certificate, just like with the courses, a certificate of completion. And so now you can do that at any time, and it will show up on your training record and your online resume. So that's a new feature for the new year. We are working on a lot of new courses. I would like some feedback from you guys, anybody who's watching this podcast and is using the website. What feature would you like to see? I really would like to know what kind of new courses you'd like to see. Just send me an email at suggestions@learnmeasure.tv for suggestions on the website or on this podcast. Or if you have a question, I'll try to answer it on the air. Send me an email at questions@learningmeasure.tv. Oh, and by the way, another new feature was added. If you go into the website, your student area, and click on the mail icon in the menu bar, what shows up is if you have a webcam, you can ask the question or leave a comment, a video comment from that page. And if you have a question that you want to answered on the podcast, say so, and we'll put you on. Okay, I guess that's it for this time. Hopefully it won't be as long till the next time. Okay, goodbye.